We are back. How many? And we're back. I don't know whether anybody can see me.
I don't think I'm going to be able to continue the stream because it's not working. I don't know why. I was happily talking away. Then I left that screen and found that the live had closed down. I'm going to try back.
Hello, hello, hello. Right, I've tried again and I'm going to be successful this time. Whoever is here, thank you. Can you just let me know in the chat, because I'd like to see where I can pick up the chat from. I'm using StreamYard instead of going direct on Facebook or trying Zoom. So if you could just let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay.
I'll try again.
If you can just let me know in the chat once again if you can hear me, you can clearly see me, and that everything is okay. Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm not, and I'm exhausted after trying to get this working. It's a good thing that my followers know what I'm like when it comes to technology. All right, I'm not actually seeing any messages yet come through on the chatty chat. So I will just carry on and hope that everybody can hear me. Oh, look, there's captions. Okay, I still can't see any comments. Hisham, are you here? Bahra, are you here? Mohammed, are you here? Who's here? Who's with me? I really need somebody to show me how to do this live streaming. I watch live streaming all the time. I watch people doing it, and it looks so easy. Oh, Zahra, no, thank you. Yeah, it looks so easy to me, but yet I just have difficulty with it. So now that it's working, let's get stuck into it. Now I'm going to be clever here and see if I can change my screen. And share screen. It's going to work. It's going to work. I know it's going to work. Okay. Yay! Da, 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 da. How do I make it bigger? Hang on. Hang on. Da, 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 da. Hooray! Okay. Is it clear? I hope it's clear. Let me just move it down a little bit. Actually, I will just go down here a little bit so you can see it clearly. Oh, I'm so relieved. I'm so relieved that that is working. I don't know how to get that off, but let's just leave that for now. Okay, so I have no idea what you heard me saying in the last attempt, but I'm going to start again. Today we're looking at task response, as you should know. And it's the importance of task response, because so many times I will read good essays, the language is good, the grammar is good, but there's a problem with task response and coherence and cohesion. We're not going to look at coherence and cohesion today, we're just going to look at task response. So one of the, or a couple of the things that I find students have problems with is addressing all parts of the task. They may miss certain things in the question that they don't include. So therefore, that's going to be a problem for task response. Also, their position may become unclear at times. Also, they may not extend and explain their ideas well enough, or the examples. Now, this is a really common one, that the examples people use do not connect to the previous sentence that they have just written. And if that happens, it's going to cause a problem with task response and coherence and cohesion, because there's no connection between the sentences. So this is a very big problem that a lot of students have. So I'd like to have a look and just go through the band descriptors to show you why it's so important that you have to pay attention to what you're writing and making sure that you're extending and that you're including all parts of the question. So if we look at a 7, it says addresses all parts of the task. Okay, so it means if there are, let's say, for example, a question that says about walking and cycling, if you only talk about walking and you forget to even mention cycling in your body paragraphs, then you're not addressing all parts of the task, are you? No. So are you going to be able to get a 7 for your task response? No. By the way, everybody, please feel free to send me any questions or any comments in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer them. So addressing all parts of the task is very important. You also have to show your clear position throughout the response. Again, quite often I will see students, they will write their position in the introduction, but in the body paragraphs, it becomes unclear, or they contradict, they say something different. So again, that is going to limit your task response score. Like I said, you have to extend, you have to develop, and you have to be careful of overgeneralizing, or that your supporting ideas, so like your examples, are connected, that they don't lose focus, that you don't start going off in another direction. Now, the reason why this is so important, that we need to have these things in our essay, is because if we don't, what's going to happen is that you could drop to a 5, you could even go lower, or a 6. So if we look at the differences, at a 5 presents some main ideas, but these are limited and not sufficiently developed. There may be irrelevant detail. So if you're adding information that is not connected to what you have just said in the paragraph, you're going to have a problem and could be limited to a 5. If your position, you have your position maybe in the introduction, but it's not always clear throughout the rest of the essay, or the conclusions that you draw. Now, the conclusions here, when in this, in the marking criteria here, doesn't only refer to the final concluding paragraph. It actually also refers to the conclusions that you've come to in your body paragraphs. So when we say the conclusions you've come to, it means how did you get from this idea to this idea? Like, how do you know that this idea will help, that it's a problem, that people think that way? So if your conclusions about how you developed your argument, why you think that, basically it's why you think that idea is relevant, then again, that can cause you to be stuck at a 5 for your task response. So the difference between a 5 and a 7, is quite big. You can see how at a 7, you have to be very, very clear. You have to make sure that all parts of the question are being answered, that your position is clear, and that your ideas are well supported and well developed. Okay. Now, I'm not going to spend any more time on the band descriptors because I'd like to move on and actually have a look at some essays that my wonderful students have written, so that you can have a look at what I'm talking about in terms of the problems with task response. So let me share this one with you. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Yes, Vanessa, yes, yes, yes. Oh, can you see it though? You probably can't see it. Let me scroll up. We need to be on this one, so we're on the wrong question. And I will make that bigger. Let's see if that looks better. Yes. Oh, look, I'm doing well, aren't I? I need to pat myself on the back. I'm doing well. All right. So my lovely student, Asma, she wrote this essay. I've removed any mistakes and so forth, just so that I want to focus solely on the task response. Now, this is an academic question, by the way. This is for the academic exam, and I do have an example for the general as well. But let's have a look at this one first. So the question is, some people believe that having a conversation on a mobile phone in a public or crowded place should be banned. Others feel that we should be able to talk wherever we like. Discuss both views and give your opinion. And of course, there will always be the instructions here. Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. This is why we don't want to see, a study conducted by Oxford University, because it's probably just an imaginary study, and we would like to see examples, relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience, not an imaginary research or study. Okay, that's another issue. That's another separate, that's another topic for another day. Now, if we look at this question, do you remember I was just saying about addressing all parts of the task? If you were only to address one of these, if you were only to talk about, hi Mohammed, if you were to only talk about the first view, then you're not going to be able to get a 7 or higher in your task response. You would actually be limited to a 5. There's something else here, and I don't know whether anybody can spot it. Can anybody spot it and type it in the chat? There are 2 things that you have to talk about here. Apart from the 2 views, what else do you need to talk about? Actually, there's 3 things that you need to talk about. Can anybody tell me? Give you a second to write any comments if you want. No? I don't know how long it takes. Oh, your own opinion. Thank you, Selma. Yes, there is your opinion, but that's separate. I'd like to know what things just in this part of the question, in the 2 views, that you definitely have to cover. Do you remember I said if you don't include all parts of the task? So what are the things that you must speak about? All right, I'll give you the answer. Having a conversation on a mobile phone, specifically you have to talk about a mobile phone, in a public or crowded place. public or crowded. So you have to be talking about public and crowded places. Like what? What are public and crowded places? Well, public places can be things like malls, hospitals, what else? What other public places are there? Of course, you've got crowded places as well, which would probably cover, well, it would cover public transport. On the metro, on buses, on trains, those places are also public and they are also crowded. Malls can be crowded. Restaurants can be crowded. Streets, yes, you could even include the street because it's public. A park is public, but it may not be crowded, but you can still talk about a park because it's a public place. So there's a lot of different places that you can talk about, but you have to be talking specifically about public or crowded places. And what's the other word here is that they should be banned. Banned meaning not allowed, made illegal. You cannot. Zahra, you're writing in Arabic. I don't have my translate. Oh, library. Yes. Excellent. Library. A library is a public place, even though it may not be crowded, it is a public place. So having a phone conversation, and it's about a conversation. They're not talking about you just texting. No, it's a conversation. So you have to include that information, and that's what you're going to talk about. And then, of course, the other view is that it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter whether it's public, crowded. You should be able to talk on your phone wherever you like. And, of course, you're going to give your opinion, like you said, Salma. All right, so let's have a look at this essay and see, does it fit a 7 for task response? Nowadays, mobile phones are essential for everyday communication. True. While some people think that using them should be allowed everywhere, so that is in reference to the second view, others, including myself, think it should be forbidden and made illegal to make a phone call in crowded public areas so as not to cause any harm or inconvenience to others. Now, this is a quite well-written introduction. They have paraphrased the question and presented their opinion. Did the writer have to add this extra little bit so as not to cause any harm or convenience? Not necessarily, no. The introduction would still be good without that, but I think it's just nice to give a little bit of an idea. You don't want to go into too much detail, but just to give a little bit of idea just helps the introduction a bit, but you don't have to. As long as your position is there and that the views have been presented. Now, if the writer had have only said about the view that she supported and not mentioned, not even paraphrased the second view, then is that a problem for task response? Yes, because right at the beginning of the essay, you're not addressing all parts of the task. Your introduction would only be including the view that you supported. So don't do that. Do not do that in your introduction. Make sure that your introduction covers everything that is in the actual statement or the views, and of course, that it gives your opinion. I see it a lot that students will only include one view or the view that they support, or say that there are advantages when they need to be talking about disadvantages as well. No, make sure you include all of it. Okay, so overall it's a pretty good introduction. Let's move down to the body paragraph. Okay, there are many reasons why people think using mobile phones should be banned in public or crowded places. Okay, what is this topic sentence telling us? It's telling us that this paragraph is going to be talking about why phones should be banned. Now, isn't this the view that the writer supported? Yeah? Didn't the writer say that was the view, that they believed it should be banned? So, wouldn't it make more sense if this paragraph was the second body paragraph? Yeah. Try to put the view that you don't support in the second paragraph. It works much better for cohesion. So, but that's for a video another day when we talk about coherence and cohesion. We're just focusing on task response today. That's it. Okay, so there are many reasons why people think using mobile phones should be banned in public or crowded places. Firstly, using them causes disturbance and harm to other people, especially the elderly and sick people existing in the same area. Moreover, using phones while driving causes traffic violations that often lead to accidents. Now, do you have any comments about that paragraph? Don't read the rest of it, just stick with this first paragraph. Do you think that there is anything in that paragraph that shouldn't be there, that doesn't connect to public or crowded places? Let me know in the chat. Nahla, you prefer, okay, Nahla has said something. I prefer sending text messages in public areas. That is not the question. The question is, you have to choose, do you agree or disagree? Which of those two views do you agree or disagree with? And it's about having a conversation in public or crowded places on your phone. So if you were to start talking about how you preferred to text message, off topic. We're not talking about your preference. You have to choose which of those two views do you support, do you agree with, okay? All right, so can anybody tell me if there is information here that shouldn't be here and why? I'll give you a hint. It's to do with the last sentence. I don't understand, Riaz. I'm sorry, I don't understand your, oh, you mean that you can talk? Yes, I understand. So unfortunately, you just have to type. I tried through Zoom, but I wasn't able to do the screen share through Zoom, unfortunately. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's difficult because you can't talk and share. Understand that. So if you can type your answers, that would be great. All right, let me tell you the answer anyway. The problem with this last question, the last sentence, moreover, using phones while driving causes traffic violations that often lead to accidents. Now, if you are just using your phone, that could mean just looking at it. It could mean watching a video. It could mean sending a text message. It doesn't mean that you're actually speaking on the phone. The other problem that I have with this idea is that, is it a public and a crowded place in your car? No, your car is not a public place. I know that you're driving on a public road, yes, but the vehicle, you could be in the vehicle on your own. So is it crowded and public? No. I would not be using talking on the phone while driving as an idea in this essay. So that is one of the issues that I have. Yes, Zahra, yes, that's right. Well, the second, like I've just said, this idea, the moreover, for me, doesn't really indicate a public or crowded place because you're in a car. And you've just said using phones, so it doesn't connect to speaking, having a conversation. The other thing is it's one sentence. So where is the development? In terms of task response, where is the development of that idea? Do not add a one sentence idea. No, you have to give some sort of explanation, extension. You could have a complex structure, a complex sentence that has 2 or 3 clauses, that would be okay. But a very simple sentence, basic sentence like this, I don't mean basic in terms of grammar, I mean it's just one relatively short sentence. Doesn't really give any extra explanation. When it comes to the, no, I'm not going to talk about the topic sentence because that's for coherence and cohesion. Let's look at the first idea. Using them causes disturbance and harm to other people. How? How does it cause disturbance? This is an undeveloped idea. Like Zahra said, is that the ideas are underdeveloped. How does it cause a disturbance? How? Especially the elderly and sick. How? Why them? What about the elderly and sick people on the metro or on a bus or sitting in a park or in the library or at the mall? I don't understand the connection between the elderly and the sick because the writer hasn't explained it. It's a valid point, but it's not developed in order to really connect it to the topic, to the question that's been given. So it's definitely an underdeveloped paragraph, this. The ideas are underdeveloped. So in terms of task response, would this paragraph be able to achieve a 7? No. Based on this paragraph alone, this essay is not going to achieve a 7 for task response because the ideas are not developed enough. They're not well supported or explained. Okay. Let's look at the second body paragraph. Although banning mobile phone usage in public areas may be an inconvenience to some people, many people think it would provide more protection for all. There would be no noise causing people discomfort, more respect for other people's rights, no or fewer traffic violations, and fewer accidents. There's a lot of information going on there, a lot of information, but is there development? Unfortunately not. Yes, Zahra, you've said that actually there's a way that I can pop up the comments. How do I pop up the comments? Woohoo! Oh, look! Look what I did! I'm so proud of myself. Yes, so I think that you were trying to say I hold the notion that sick and elderly people need mobiles all the time. Absolutely, that is correct. They do need mobile phones, but this is not the question. So, you know, I don't really see how it's very relevant. Okay, let's go back to this one here. Although banning mobile phone usage in public areas may be an inconvenience to some. Okay, so the writer here is using concession to say that although there is inconvenience, Many people think it would provide more protection. Can anybody tell me, is there a problem with the position here? Let's go back up to the introduction. Is there a problem? Is this clear which view this paragraph is going to be about? I'm confused. I don't know whether you can see it, but I'm confused. Although banning phone usage in public areas may be an inconvenience, many people think it would provide more protection for all. That means many people think it would provide protection. That means it should be banned. It's a good thing. It should be banned. So when I was reading this, I got a bit confused. Yeah, exactly. It seems like it's about protecting the people. So therefore, it's another idea or another paragraph in support of the view of banning. So in terms of task response, we have an issue. We have an issue in terms of both views are not being equally discussed. And the second is that the position now, where's the position in support of banning? No, sorry, her position is there in support of banning. But the point of writing about both views is not there. That's the first thing with this paragraph, apart from topic sentence and apart from other issues. But the first thing is that this indicates to me that they are not talking about the other view. Then we go on to say there would be no noise causing people discomfort. There would be no noise. Is that an overgeneralization? Yes. Why is it an overgeneralization? Because we can't say no noise. Of course there's going to be noise. What about the noise of traffic? What about the noise of dogs barking or the birds chirping or just general noise, a plane flying over? You know, there is noise. So to say that there would be no noise causing people discomfort is an exaggeration. It's an overgeneralization because there will always be noise unless you're in the desert with nothing else around you. More respect for other people's rights. How? How is that giving someone more respect for other people's rights? No or fewer traffic violations. Again, this is an over-exaggeration. No traffic violations just by banning phone calls in public and crowded places? No, it's not. No, because what about accidents that happen because of bad weather, poor road maintenance, the car breaks down or the brakes fail and you crash into somebody else? So again, that's an overgeneralization. Fewer accidents. So all of that, no, we're losing focus here. We're losing focus on what the question is about. So this paragraph should have been talking about why people should be allowed to talk on their mobile phones anywhere. So we should have one paragraph about that, about why they should speak anywhere, and another paragraph about why they should be banned. But this essay doesn't do that. So the task response will really suffer here because those two things are not there. Let's look at the conclusion. In conclusion, the use of mobile phones should be banned. Again, the word use. Remember, use could be anything. The use of mobile phones should be banned in public areas, especially crowded ones, as otherwise there would be many negative implications. So this conclusion is not good because it hasn't readdressed the other view. What's happened here with this essay is that the writer has just, it's almost been written like a agree-disagree question, where they've chosen the view that they support and then have written about it. But with a discuss both views, you have to discuss both equally. You have to discuss why some people think A, and then why some people think B, and then give your support to whichever one you actually agree with. So that is an example of what you should avoid. I see this so often with students, that they add ideas, but they don't develop them. Always ask yourself why, how, what impact does that have? So if we look here at this sentence, firstly, using them causes disturbance and harm to other people. Well, the first thing that I'm asking myself is how? How does it cause a disturbance? Ask yourself how. Are you answering that answer? Are you answering that question now? If you're answering that question in your head now, type it in the comments if you can and tell me how. How does using a mobile phone in a public or crowded place disturb or harm others? So always ask yourself that when you come up with when you introduce an idea, think, how? Is the examiner going to ask me when they're reading, is the examiner going to ask how? Or why is that appropriate? Or what impact does that have? Why is that a problem? How could it be different? Will the examiner ask any of those questions once you've written an idea? Ask yourself that. If you can answer any of those questions in your head, then you must continue to answer them, to extend your answer so that you have a fully developed answer. Okay? Fully developed ideas. All right, so that's an example of what to avoid. Now let's have a look at a different one. I will switch over and have a look at a general essay, just to show a bit of variety. It's not the same essay, of course, because it's a general question. Let's look at we'll still stick with the discuss both views so that you can actually see the difference. All right. So let me make that bigger. 1 second, bigger. How's that? Is that clear now? Huh. Why isn't that as big as the other one was? Ooh. Ooh, no. Let's go to that way. Huh. Oh, let me change the font. Maybe that's it. Nope, font's up at 14. Okay. How about that? Okay. Oh, it's still quite small, isn't it? Why is it small? I hope you can read it. Okay. Some people feel the best way to reduce the number of accidents on the road is to further limit the speed of vehicles. Others think that there are better ways to tackle this issue. So, again, we've got discuss both views, and we've got the best way. What does the best way mean? It means that there is no better way. There is nothing that can reduce the number of accidents more than limiting speed of vehicles, okay? Then the other view is, others think that there are better ways to tackle this issue, meaning that that is not the best, that there are better, okay? The other key word that you have to pay attention to here is further. Further limit. We already have speed limits. And I think I've gone through this question before, actually, in a video. To further limit the speed means to reduce the current speed because we already have speed limits. All right, so can everybody see that? It's looking very small to me. I just want to check if you can see it okay. Can you just let me know, Zahra, if you're still here? If it's clear. All right, let's look at this. Maybe it's too big. Maybe that's the problem. Let's see what that looks like. Still the same. Let me try it again. Okay, what does that look like now? Oh, that's a bit better. Okay. So, although there have been great advancements in vehicle safety, road accidents still present a problem. Very nice topic sentence. While a group of people considers limiting the speed of vehicles is the best solution to reducing road accidents, others believe there are better solutions to this matter. I agree with the latter view. So the question has been clearly paraphrased, very nicely paraphrased. Both views have been included, and the position is clear. I agree with the latter view. Done. Job done. Tick. So that ticks the box for the introduction in terms of task response. Now, as we can see, the first body paragraph is a lot shorter than the second body paragraph. Is this an issue? Not necessarily, no. Because I'm looking at this and I can clearly guess that the second paragraph is the view that the writer supports because it's longer. I'm not saying that you have to have a longer paragraph, but it makes a bit more sense, doesn't it? If the view that you support, if that paragraph is just a little bit longer, it doesn't have to be as different as this essay, but if it's a few sentences longer, it just makes sense because the view that you would support, you would want to explain more, wouldn't you? You'd want to give extra support to it. So that's why it could possibly be a little bit longer. But you do have to be careful. You don't want to make this paragraph, the view that you don't support, you don't want to make that too short because you still need to extend it. You still need to support the view, why people think that. So you have to make sure that you give enough development in both paragraphs. That's the most important thing. All right, reducing current speed limits is believed to create safer drivers. Okay, I now know from the topic sentence that this is going to be talking about the view of limiting the current speed. Many drivers are careless when driving at high speed. So what? Which means they are unable to stop in time in case of an emergency. Yes, that's true. But so what? What's the problem if they can't stop in time? When this happens, an accident often occurs. Yes, true. However, by lowering current limits to a safe braking distance, drivers have more chance to avoid a collision because the car will be traveling slower. Very nice explanation. Can you see the difference? Now, I know that the questions were different, but can you see how this paragraph has been developed in a much better way than the previous essay? Because the writer has actually explained what happens, why is this a problem, how can it be, how is it going to cause a reduction in accidents? So this is a very nicely developed argument. And in the band descriptors I was talking about, when we looked at the band descriptors, I was talking about the conclusions that you draw, the conclusions drawn. And this is what I'm referring to. And basically, however, by lowering current speed limits to a safe braking distance, drivers have more chance to avoid a collision because the car will be traveling slower. That is the conclusion. The conclusion that's being drawn here is that it's going to create safer drivers. That is the conclusion. Not the concluding paragraph, but the conclusion to the argument. They believe, the person believes, that reducing current speeds, what is the result of that? The conclusion of that is that it will create safer drivers. And the rest of the paragraph has gone on to explain how drivers could be safer and how reducing speed limits is going to cause less accidents. Let's look at the next one, next paragraph. On the other hand, there are more effective ways. So they're saying, yeah, okay, we've said that it's good. And also the writer has sort of distanced themselves from this view by saying is believed. And another way that you could further distance yourself from that view is to say reducing current speed limits is believed by some to create safer drivers. So again, you're distancing yourself from that opinion. So on the other hand, there are more effective ways to cut down the number of road accidents despite the importance of further limiting the speed on roads. Nice. Okay, what are these more effective ways? Technology has introduced substantial improvements in vehicle safety measures. By the way, there are still some grammatical or word choice error mistakes here, which I haven't corrected. Has introduced substantial improvements in vehicles safety measures. Okay, fine. Tell me about that. For instance, many cars now have autopilot driving mode, which, with the help of wide range sensors, can detect any sudden change either in other vehicles or people around, or other people around, and respond quickly to these changes. Okay, that's a thorough example. I can sort of get it in my head that these sensors are going to tell the driver, they're going to detect and tell the driver that there is a danger approaching. What is the result of that? Let's carry on. Additionally, new radars and cameras can spot different types of traffic violations at broader ranges and notify drivers of the infraction by sending them an SMS with the fine. So they're saying that the technology like cameras and radars can send a message to the drivers to say, you ran through a red light, you didn't stop at the stop sign, you didn't indicate when you were overtaking, etc. Therefore, I believe investing more in safety technologies in vehicles and roads can dramatically decrease the number of road accidents. So again, we've got the conclusion that there are more effective ways. And these are the more effective ways, the safer technology. Okay, this is what they've said. Now, this could be further developed as well. This could be written in a stronger way, that the development of it is a little bit stronger. But again, if we compare this paragraph to the other essay, there's a big difference in terms of development. The writer has actually asked themselves, how is it different? What is the impact? What difference does that make? Why is it relevant? They've extended because they've been able to ask themselves those questions to develop the idea. Okay. So in terms of task response, this is a well-developed paragraph. Both of these are ticking the boxes for a well-developed response to the question. And the position is still clear to me. Let's look at the conclusion and see if it still matches. Why aren't you seeing that? Can you see that now? Huh. One second. There we go. In conclusion, putting more limits on speed could be a great solution to the road accident issue. However, I believe technologies like autopilot, vehicle sensors, and new radars can have a greater impact on cutting down the number of road accidents. So again, the position is still clear. The position has been there from the beginning to the end, from the introduction through the body paragraph, and then in the conclusion as well. So this is a very nicely developed essay in terms of task response. This is what you need to be aiming for if you want to get a 7 or higher. If you need something lower, if you need like a 5.5 or a 6, then even the other essay is not going to be good for that, because there was too many things going on with that other essay for task response. Try to aim for this. Try to aim for this type of development. There is nothing here that was losing focus. It was on focus. All the examples connected, the sentences connected in terms of the ideas. There was clear development in both of these paragraphs. So that's what you need to look for. That's what you need to do. I was going to say something and I've forgotten. I forgot what I was going to say then. Completely slipped my mind. So really, that's what I wanted to do today. I will be doing another stream, inshallah, and I will be looking at coherence and cohesion. I will probably use different essays. I won't go through the same ones. I'll probably use some different ones. But I hope that this was beneficial, and I hope that you have a better understanding now of why it's so important that you address all parts of the task, that you present, extend, and support your ideas, and that your position is clear throughout, and that you don't overgeneralize or lose focus in your ideas. So I hope that was beneficial. I will sign off for now. You're welcome, Zahra. Thank you, everybody, for being so patient, for staying with me in my technical difficulties. I'm really delighted that the StreamYard is working. Yay, StreamYard, go StreamYard. And I will continue to try and improve my live streaming ability without having so many technical difficulties. But for now, I will say goodbye to everybody. Thanks again for watching. If you do have any questions, just send me a message. You can reach out to me on all the platforms. Go and subscribe to me on YouTube. Don't forget to like. I'm also on TikTok. I love my TikTok, so you can also watch my videos on TikTok. I'm actually trying to copy them and to repurpose them and put them onto Facebook and YouTube, but it's taking time, and you know, I'm not very good with technology, so it might take time. But there you go. So thanks again for joining with me. Thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next live session. I will let you know when that's going to be. I would actually like to have a regular sessions, live streaming, but I don't know when that's going to be, but I shall let you know. So thanks everybody. Have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and I shall see you soon, inshallah. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.